That was, if I'm right, that one was coming from through the ranks of the unions. Do I have a proposer and a seconder?
Speaker, Councillor van Dijk.
Speaker.
Just 1 second, please. I've had two people talking at the same time. Who was the proposer?
Councillor van Dijk.
Councillor van Dijk, thank you. You will be the you're the proposer. And seconder?
I'll second that, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Alderman Terkotse. Anyone else on this matter? No one, then E147 carries through as unanimous vote. Thank you, councillors. E148, the parking policy for the Mossel Bay CBD. Can I have a proposer and a seconder so that I can put it onto the table?
Thank you, Speaker. I'll propose it. My apologies. My hand doesn't want to show.
No, your hand does show, but I haven't looked at it. Sorry for that one, councillor. Then,
thank you, Speaker.
Then it's been proposed by Councillor Groenewald. And the seconder, can I have a seconder for this one?
I'll second, Speaker.
Second by Deputy Mayor Alderman Kotze. Anyone else? Councillor Breinders, you've got a hand up?
Thank you, Speaker. I think by now, Speaker, you should know what my stance is around CBDs and the movement of CBDs within. Sorry?
No, I've noticed that I've made a note that you will talk about the CBD. In this point of, and I think Council and I don't want to redirect you, but it's by ways of pointing out where it is. The CBD, we on being the CBD, that's a story for the day, and I think we must look at it on another occasion. You can go on. Order to
Speaker. No, thank you again, once again, for the opportunity. I think it's not per se, I'm not per se arguing in terms of parking policy. Yes, parking policy, but where do we apply this particular parking policy? So for me, it is good money that we throw into a bad area. And once again, I think no one, it lands on deaf ears every time when I raise this, but it is reality outside there that our CBD is no more within Central Town. And it seems that we don't come to the realization that Mossel Bay have moved on. Yet we are plowing money into an ward where we realize, where we know, where we already agreed that the CBD is no more there. Now, in applying this particular perception that the CBD is there and pushing in money in there as if it still is there as a CBD is wrong, Mr. Speaker. I appeal once again to this council so that we can have vision in terms of where we want to start to identify our CBD. We should start now because...
Councillor Breinders, can we revert back to the parking policy, please?
Mr. Speaker, it is linked to the idea that the CBD is still static within Central Town. Now, you can't tell me anything. I'm saying, and I'm of this opinion, that anything that you put in there to better the CBD, your so-called CBD, that is no more your so-called CBD, is wasteful and it's fruitless expenditure. Because we don't want to realize that the CBD in Mossel Bay have moved. cautioning, Mr. Speaker, once again, I'm cautioning this council that it might relate to fruitless expenditure because our CBD is not there. And this council at one point have accepted on a debate that our CBD have moved. Then, Mr. Speaker, you should really try when you put up items and make recommendations that you don't confuse this with a CBD. If you say then parking policy in Ward 10, then let it be parking policy in Ward 10. But don't come up and link it to a CBD. It's no more the CBD of this town. I thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. We take notice of what is said. The next hand I've got is Councillor Groenewald and then Deputy Mayor. Councillor Groenewald, your hand is up, or is it still up from the previous one?
No. Thank you very much, Speaker. My apologies again. The internet is unreliable. I'm trying to manage with my cellular phone, my mobile phone. But what I would like to say on this item, we are a municipality that listens to our people. What this recommendation says, that we proceed with the public participation process. Let's wait what the people would like to say about this, and then we consider and debate it. So I really plead, let this recommendation go through as a resolution. We hear what our people say, we debate it properly, we take their needs, their aspirations, and their views into consideration. We don't only exclude them, we include them when we discuss and debate this issue. So can we please proceed? Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Groenewald. Alderman Kotze.
Speaker, words like a bad area has been used. Sorry, so I don't know if that's the correct wording to use. I don't think it's a bad area. I don't know if it's good for a councillor to refer to any area in his own town as a bad area. So I don't think that's very constructive usage of the language. Speaker, yes, I know there's various opinions. I would also like the word Old Town, but I also think we must tell each other that yes, central or business districts do move, and they, like, take for instance the example of Cape Town. Cape Town's got various business districts and areas, but still the CBD within town. Councillor Breinders also used the word within central town, which were referring to the old town, which is exactly what CBD stands for, is standing for the central business district. I do agree that business districts do move, but at this stage, I think everybody know what's been referred to as the CBD, and obviously, like I've mentioned, CBD refers to a historic area within the middle of town, like the example that I've used. I also really cannot understand to what fruitless and wasteful expenditure he's referring to, because looking at the policy to have people to pay for parking in that specific area where we know that's a problem, how can that be seen as fruitless and wasteful expenditure? I don't understand that.
Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, you know, you had your chance twice. I don't want to go too long, but one minute, please.
Mr. Speaker, let me be decent and withdraw the bad area. I think that was not the purpose of the expression, but let me withdraw that. I think, Mr. Speaker, once again, we should really, as a council, start to have a debate on where the economic activity of Mossel Bay is located at this moment. And I would like to make an appeal to the Deputy Mayor or Acting Mayor and Alderman to start such a process within Mossel Bay so that we can be clear in Mossel Bay where, and obviously it will have an impact on the vision of Mossel Bay. So let's be open, let's start to tackle this particular problem. Let's be open on it, and let's give direction to this. And I expect this from the Deputy Mayor to start such a debate. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. That's the end of the debate on the parking policy. I don't have anyone against it. So the parking policy for the Mossel Bay, let's say center of town then, carries through as an unanimous vote. Thank you very much, councillors. I'm at 149. Proposed amendments to the farewell policy. This also have been discussed with the unions, and it's where it comes from. Can I have a proposer and a seconder to lay this to the table? 149 of 09-2020. Can I have a second proposer?
Speaker, I'll propose.
Thank you, Deputy Alderman Dirk Coetzee. Do I have a seconder for this one?
Speaker, I second it. Annie van Rensburg.
Annie, thank you very much. Been seconded. Can I assume it's an unanimous vote? It is then nobody is against it. E149/2020 carries through as an unanimous vote. I'll take you to E150. So, 150 is the proposed amendments to the scarce skills policy. It came the same route as the previous one. E150, can I have a proposer and a seconder on this one?
Thank you, Speaker. I propose.
Proposed by Councillor Anton Delamain. Thank you, Councillor Delamain. A seconder?
Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Speaker. I support the item. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been seconded by Councillor Thabo Mvumvu. When I don't hear any noises, it's E150 carries through as unanimous
Speaker,
decision.
my hand is raised. It's Councillor Gous.
I haven't seen your hand, but yeah, okay, you're on the floor.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm sorry that I missed this the first time around, but can I just quickly ask, perhaps for clarity, on page 3 of the policy? Actually, no, sorry, point 7.7.1.
Will you please
The
quote?
turnover rate of, excuse me? Yeah, so point
quote,
7.7.1.
Okay.
The clause basically states that the turnover rate of employees must be higher than the average turnover. But I'm just wondering, how does this indicate scarcity? Is that not, maybe there might be other underlying reasons why there's a high turnover rate in a certain position? I don't know if that's truly a condition that we can use to indicate scarcity if there's a high turnover rate. Could the MM or Director Jantjies perhaps just explain the thinking there?
Okay, can you nominate who you want
and
to?
Then, sorry, Speaker, that's not point 7.71. There's two issues. That's the first one is the turnover rate of employment from another employer. And then the director can recommend retention of that employee by paying a scarce.
To require qualifications that is perhaps really sometimes a bit very high. You will know, and I'm going to use the example of the CFO, that to appoint a CFO, those type of qualification and skills are just not available at the salaries that we offer. So what we're saying is that if you've got such a person, if you've got a CFO and that CFO applies for another position, and you see the CFO as bringing a lot of value to your municipality, it is better to retain that CFO and to match the salary. It's not to say that you will always match all salaries. Some people, you might say, have a good time at wherever you're going. But I can use another example. The chief of electrical services or the head of electrical services. Those people are just not, you don't get them. And we've got an excellent person currently. And if and I'm going to be blunt and say, if George offers him a position, I would like to equal that salary. Of course, he's bringing a lot of value to the municipality. And obviously, in some instances, it's not as if it will always be done. Employee can say, okay, I've got another job offered. Do you want to equal it? I'll say, no, it's okay. Like I did there's a couple of times where I did it, but where I've got proof that that person is a good employee, I want to have the opportunity to do that, especially where it is scarce skills. If you know that, legal, I've got a legal qualification. That's why I used the example. People with legal qualifications, you get them everywhere. They're all over the show. I don't know if we can let that one stand over, or what, or if Mr. Yankees perhaps want to respond to that one.
Speaker, thanks.
Is there something you want to add?
Speaker, thanks. I just want to, sorry for the council to repeat that first one, because like I was concentrating on 7.7.1. If it's possible, just a tongue in the cheek, Chairperson, we actually just put this was part of the policy and this part isn't changed. So we actually should just discuss the parts that are changed. It's just tongue in the cheek, but otherwise we're going to have to discuss the whole policy. But if the council can just take me to that, what points he's referring to, so that I can just have a look again.
Councillor Gous.
Thank you. Thank you, Speaker. Through you to Director, and thank you to the MM. Director Reinkies, you are right. That's why I did start my statement with saying, I'm sorry I missed this the first time around. But I noticed that when reading the policy yesterday was that we've said that scarce skill allowance will be paid to a position where we see there's a very high turnover rate of employees. So where the normal average turnover rate of employees is exceeded, we will consider paying a scarcity allowance. And I was just wondering how we justify that as a scarcity allowance. Is that not more likely that there are other issues in that department that should then be examined, rather than considering to pay a scarce skill allowance to retain someone in that position, when the problem might actually be more an issue with management or something like that? I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying that, in my opinion, that would be the reason for a high turnover rate, and not because of the scarce skill.
No, thanks, Speaker. Speaker, theory has it that there's various reasons why turnover rates can change in the way it does. The arrangement, or just the principle, and that was cleared with the unions as well. The principle is just, once a turnover rate goes out of hand, that specific post or posts where it happens becomes scarce. And that's why we want to allow for the options of when that happens, not to struggle by finding replacements. Yes, you're right that there are various reasons, but we are checking those reasons through an exit management process. But it can happen that when, that's why we brought in this, to ensure that we don't land into a situation where we don't find people at all in a specific position. I hope that clarifies that, Councillor.
Yes, thank you so much, Director. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Gous. Thank you, Imam. Thank you, Director. I see a hand from Councillor Breinders again. Councillor Breinders. I assume the hand is still up from the previous one. Then my ruling will be that E150 goes through as an unanimous vote. I take you to E15.
No, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I have a question.
Okay.
Speaker, on this item.
You
Mr.
see, I
Speaker,
can't see people, and I have to assume, no, you don't want to ask when it's there's no respond in quick time. So I'll let you have a few questions.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you so much, and I understand your dilemma that you are in. If we are saying that we will then move to a position where we will allow or give a scarce skills allowance, will it cut on our consultancy budget? Just a question.
Someone to answer me on that one, please.
Speaker, no. Speaker, no. Consultancy fees will always be there, and if you pay a scarcity allowance because of some post that you need filled, like a CFO, it doesn't mean that you will not have a consultant to do, for instance, the general valuation. Those sort of things which are specialized fields, which there's no way that we can have enough valuers employed in a municipality to do a general valuation ourselves. So those type of fees will still be there, and it doesn't relate, the one doesn't relate to the other. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you.
No, Speaker, I was answered. I don't think I'm clear on this one. The MMF made an example of the CFO. What about electrotechnical? Don't we have skilled people in technical fields that will cut down on our consultants expenditure? Because if we get skilled people, obviously we will then now move to a scarce skilled allowance, but then we will still have these enormous amounts of consultancy fees.
MM, for the, can you answer the last one, please?
Yes, if I may respond to us, the head of electrical has got, yes, he's got a lot of electrical knowledge, electrical skills and all those sort of things, but he's also a manager. He's got a lot of managerial things to do. Now, for instance, and I'm going to use an example, if we want to design the bulk electrical infrastructure for Alwendal, given that Alwendal will be a place where there will be development and all the bulk infrastructure, electricity is needed there. So someone must design that. I cannot expect the head of electrical department to do that. There's just not enough time, and he will not do the job adequately because he hasn't got time. I'll still need a consultant to do that, because it is sort of an expert sort of thing that's not the run-of-the-mill things. You need to evaluate a lot of things and come up with a lot of plans, decide on the right one. We will still need consultants for certain tasks. We are running an operation, and for that operation we need staff, but certain things are just beyond our staff. And the reason why you use consultants is because you need specific skills which you cannot employ full-time because you can't utilize them full-time. And therefore, you rather make use of consultants because it is part-time usage of specialized expertise that you buy in. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. With that, we conclude the conversation on E50.
Speaker.
Councillor. Yeah.
Speaker.
Councillor. Yeah, Councillor Davey.
Speaker, yes, I don't agree with that, and I want to demonstrate it down. I'm not agree with this point because I believe there's a lot of skills people, but I think it's a fight for another day. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. We take note of what you said, and then I conclude E150, and I want to go to as an unanimous vote with one or two people that put down queries that we've taken note of. E151, proposed amendments, reward and recognition policy. The recommendations on page 182 on the PC or 1178 on the printed matter. Can I have a proposer and a seconder that I can lay E151 to the table? I'm open for.
Speaker, thank you. I would like to propose. I just want to make a further recommendation. I've posted also in the chat box, and that is that the gift vouchers can be considered for municipal employees at a value recommended by executive management and approved by council for the achievement of outstanding performance by the municipality based on a specific rating or accomplishment. Stel so voor, Speaker.
Thank you, Alderman Kotze. That's a very useful addition you made. Can I have a seconder for that one? Seconder for E151 with the addition.
Speaker, I will second.
The seconder was?
Reuters.
Thank you, Councillor Reuters. Councillor Gous, I see your hand.
Yes, thank you, Speaker. I suspect that what our Deputy Mayor has added to the item might actually cover, excuse me, my concern regarding the performance, the reward for a performance improvement. I was thinking as well that it should be linked as a percentage to the relevant cost saving or enhancement, not just the flat 500 Rand gift voucher. So I suspect that the amendment as proposed by our Deputy Mayor would actually cover that. Let me just get clarity on that.
Thank you, Councillor Gous. Anyone who want to elaborate on that one? Amen.
Speaker, no, it's two different, two separate things. I think what Councillor Gous refers to is the cost saving and the enhancement in operations. Councillor, sometimes it's very difficult to actually put a specific value to the cost saving. The first question, obviously, is it the cost? Is it the value per annum, or is it the value over a 10-year period, or how long? And the next question is if it's a better processes, shortening processes. Which cost are you taking into account? Only direct salaries, or are you also taking indirect overhead cost into account and those sort of things? So just because it is difficult to determine, that is why we proposed a fixed amount. What the deputy proposed now was that, for instance, and I'm going to use the example which we will come back to you for about. We have again, as Mossel been appointed as the financially most sustainable municipality in the country. I think that is a really something of note and something that a lot of municipalities are very jealous about, and that we brag about. But do we really give something to say thank you to the staff? And I think it's those type of things where we just want to say to the staff, to everyone that worked so hard, there's a 100 Rand gift voucher to every employee that was employed over that period, just to say thank you. And that is the type of thing that the Deputy Mayor referred to, or what he carried in now. I think we're running a tight shift. Yes, and discipline is strict. So if you don't perform, you can expect some consequences. But we also need on the other side to reward where there's good work being done. And that is the reason why Deputy proposed that. I hope I answered, Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, MM. Councillor Gous, if you are covered, please remove your hand. Anyone else before we go on?
Thank you. I would like to just firstly thank the MM for the reply. And yes, I understand the reward and the incentive. And I also understand what he's saying about the percentage linked to cost saving being difficult because you cannot clarify the actual amount saved. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gous. with that, that's the end of 150. We go 151. I want to take you to 152, E152. And that postponement of the 2021 Dias Festival and post-COVID-19 tourism recovery plan. We all know what COVID-19 did to the world and did to Mossel Bay. And yeah, the decision was then to recommend to council that we don't go on with the Dias Festival in January 2021. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for E5?
Can I propose?
You're welcome, Councillor Breinders, proposed by Councillor Breinders. Do I have a seconder?
I second, Speaker.
Seconded. Thank you very much. Seconded by Councillor Peter Lechaba. So many seconders, I think it's unanimous. Thank you very much. E152 goes through as unanimous vote. I want to take you to E153, councillors.
Councillor Gous.
Councillor Gous, yes.
Yes, thank you. Speaker, no, I'm not supporting the transfer of these funds to the Tourism Bureau. I feel that because it's not a core function of the municipality, and I understand I'm not trying to be or wanting to be short-sighted. I understand the value of tourism to business in Mossel Bay, but I also see an ever-increasing cost arising for this municipality as we're having to forego rental income and stuff like that. And where there are possible savings, I would prefer to see that spent on offsetting future costs for our residents. So the ACDP does not support the transfer of these funds to the Tourism Bureau. I'd also like to just note that we're asking, in this item, we're asking permission to start a campaign that to all intents and purposes has already started. T-shirts have been printed, the branding for cars has already been printed, so it's a little pointless in my opinion that this item has even come to council.
Can you please go back, Councillor? Can you please go back on what you said about T-shirts and I haven't picked up that what you said. Will you please go back to that and tell me what you said, please?
Okay, thank you. Speaker, what I'm saying is the item that's brought to council is that we re-budget these funds or reallocate these funds for a marketing campaign. But the marketing campaign has already started. The T-shirts branded The Great Escape have already been printed and are ready for collection. The branding is already on cars. So it is a little odd that we're only requesting permission now to transfer funds for that marketing campaign when that marketing campaign has actually already started. But the point being, Speaker, that the ACDP is against reallocating these funds. The Tourism Department already receives almost 4 million rand a year from this municipality from residents in their pockets, and we don't support the reallocation of another further 1.25 million rand.
Councillor, you're a little confused. If you read the papers and you see what's on the T-shirts, it's got nothing to do with the Dias Festival. And
Speaker.
And just the next thing, we haven't took a decision yet on the shifting of the funding. I just want to give Councillor Alderman Kotzer a chance to speak, and then I'll go back to for his comments on this one as well. Thank you. And then Councillor Breinders, you will be slotting. I think Councillor would you mind if I slot in Councillor Breinders, and you can deliver the death sentence, if I can call it that.
Speaker.
Yes, sir.
Speaker, my hand is also on.
Karel, sir. Karel.
No, I said when you come to vote, I second the councillor from the ACDP from Ikosa.
She didn't make an proposal. She only bring concerns to the party. Councillor Alderman Kotze, can you go on, please?
Speaker, yes. As a business person, I would like to maybe give some perspective regarding advertising. I suppose we all have seen Coca-Cola advertised everywhere, and we also know that it's one of the biggest brands in the world. It's not the biggest brand because they're not advertising. Just to back my statement, we've seen over the past weeks and months after post-COVID, we've seen all kinds of businesses starting to advertise because of the fact that they're not doing business as normal. So business use advertising to start selling again if there's a problem. And in this stage, obviously, the municipality want to use the same mechanism through tourism. I think we must also tell each other that obviously tourism does not only, they're not only liable on future monies, they obviously have a current budget from which they are operating. So that's just some of the backgrounds or the perspectives that I want to put out there, and that's why I'm supporting, or we are supporting this item.
Thank you, Deputy. Mr. Councillor Breinders.
Speaker, once again, thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, the reason why we support this particular item is that we know that people are coming from a very difficult time, a very difficult business time, it's just abnormal, a very abnormal time. We are also supporting this because we also know that tourism is one of our pillars in terms of our economic vision within Mossel Bay. And the transfer of money is a little bit, it's not much. Actually, we needed a bit more in terms of marketing and trying to restore the tourism activities within Mossel Bay. So yes, we support this, and we support it full-heartedly. That also in order to resuscitate the tourism. The tourism activities within Mossel Bay, and that is key to restore the economy within Mossel Bay. So we understand that, Mr. Speaker. I thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Breinders. MM.
Speaker, thank you. Just clarity on matters that was raised by a previous councillor. The language used was that an additional transfer. No, this is not an additional transfer. This is just a reallocation. It is the same money that
reallocation.
It is the same money that would have been used for the Ice Festival that we just want to use for other marketing purposes. The two marketing purposes. The one I'm going to first talk about the Leefjou Reis one. The Leefjou Reis one, the current series didn't cost us any money, but there was also no advertisement attached to the current series. What we're now doing is to have another series towards the middle of next year, coupled with quite a number of advertisement, and therefore the advertisement is the one that costs the money in respect of that. As to the current campaign, referred to the t-shirts and the branding. Currently, the appointment of the consultant was done by tourism from tourism funds. What we're trying to do is to say we want to up the campaign by allocating more money towards tourism for that specific initiative. It might be, and you might know that I'm one of the directors at tourism. It might be that my proposal will be that given that the municipality is giving this money towards campaign, that we utilize the money that tourism would have spent on improving the Arts and Crafts Centre. There is and that this money that Mossel Bay Municipality is allocating now sort of replaced the contribution that tourism made towards this campaign about Mossel Bay. I hope I clarify that. I know it's a difficult one. It's difficult times, it's difficult decisions to be taken. But I think that given the feedback that I personally got from the Leefje Reis program that was broadcasted, it was very positive. I think it is money, personally, I think it is money good spent, but obviously I'm not in a position to take a decision on this. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Brenda, your hand is up. I'll give you 1 minute for the last speaker.
No, Mr. Speaker, I think I just forgot to lower my hand. Let me just do that quickly.
Thank you very much. Councillor Gous, you had your chance, but 1 minute.
Thank you, Speaker. I appreciate it. I understand what our Deputy Mayor has said and also what our MM has said. However, stand by my original conclusion that the ACDP does not support the reallocation of these funds. I believe that we would see the money better spent by directly benefiting residents, because then we see the money spent here as well, in any case, with the multiplier effect working for us. We're spending money, as I said, on hopefully increasing tourism, where people have already not got much disposable income because of COVID. Seems to me to be too much of a risk to take, and I'd rather see the money directly benefiting residents. So the ACDP is not going to vote for this item. We vote against it. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Gous. That will be then the end of the discussions on, sorry, the...
Speaker.
Councillor, why do you every time wait until I'm speaking and then you chip in?
Speaker said
I make my ruling, Councillor. The Tyres Festival will not take place, and there will be no voting because I haven't had an against vote, and we don't have a seconder for that. So in the meantime, I will let
Speaker, I did offer an alternative.
Listen, if you want to do the job, come and sit on my chair, please.
I beg your pardon, Speaker. I did raise my hand.
And I second,
Sorry,
Speaker, I second.
With this vote of the ACDP and the vote of ICOSA, please put it on to the minutes that they don't go with the decision we made, and that's the end of it. And now we go on to the next one, and that will be 153.
Thank you, Speaker.
153. Sorry for losing my temper, but sometimes it does happen. 153, E153 of 09/2020, relief measures, national state of disaster. I think there's in the vicinity of 5 or 6 of these relief matters. I want to take you to 153. Can I have a proposer and a seconder on that one? Relief matters.
Speaker, I'll propose. Mark Furness.
Proposed by Councillor Mark Furness. Do I have a seconder?
Second, Speaker.
Seconded by Deputy Mayor. Thank you very much. Any proposals against? No proposals.
Can you hear me? It's Councillor Gous.
Yes.
Speaker, I'm not proposing against. I just want clarity. I see we've recommended that a full write-off be made of the rental that was due for the Ice Cream King and the coffee shop. But I would like it noted that Mrs. Stadloff, in her request to the municipality, did not request a full write-off of the rental. That's just something that it seems we've made a decision on. Could we get clarity on that? Page 203 of the agenda. If you read her letter, she actually does not request the write-off of the rental amount. She actually just requests extensions.
You're quite right. I'll give this to the MM and to elaborate on that one, please. MM.
Thank you.
Speaker, thank you. Speaker, you quite correctly stated that there are a couple of these items. We received a couple of requests, and when we evaluated them, we decided to recommend a consistent approach. Not to just take all the requests into account, but when we recommend a consistent approach. That means that everyone is treated the same. So yes, I think the councillor is quite correct. I know that what the request was, but it would be, I don't think it will be fair to, in one instance, agree to writing off, and just in another instance, just because the person didn't ask for it, not do it. It is about consistency and being fair to everyone, and that is the reason why we're proposing it in this manner. That's the way I can take it. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, MM. Everyone satisfied with the answer that MM gave? When I don't hear anything, this one
Yes,
E5
thank you, Speaker.
Councillor Gous. I couldn't hear you, Councillor Gous. Can you please repeat what you said?
No, I just said thank you for the reply, Speaker.
Okay.
Accepted.
Thank you. E153 of 09/2020 carries through as unanimous vote. Thank you, councillors. I'm at E154. Relief measures, national state of disaster, COVID-19 pandemic. This one is on the Anglo-African Management Trust, trading as the Feta Mossel. Can I have a proposer and a seconder on the relief measures to the Feta Mossel? Was that Councillor Anton Delamain?
And Mark Furness, Speaker.
Mark Furness, sorry, Mark. Proposed by Councillor Mark Furness, seconded by?
Seconding by Deputy.
Second.
Seconders all over the show, but the first the first voice I heard was of the Deputy Mayor. Everyone of you satisfied with E54 carries through as unanimous vote? Gone. I'm at E155. Relief measure, national state of disaster, COVID-19 pandemic. That's about Point Caravan Resort. And we all know where that is. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for the relief measures?
Speaker, I'll propose.
Proposed by Councillor Mark Furness, seconded by?
Councillor Baron, second.
Councillor Baron. Thank you very much. It's been seconded by Councillor Baron. Is there anyone against? Councillor Gous, your hand is up.
Yes, Speaker, thank you. I see that the write-off that we're proposing is from the 1st of April to the 30th of September, which is today, because the concern has been that they have not been able to conduct business as usual. But for anybody that's been moving around the point, we would have seen that the caravan park has been relatively full over the last 2 to 3 weeks of September. They've been quite busy. And also my concern is that if we look at the next item as well, I don't want to run ahead, but the amounts that we're writing off are now becoming quite exorbitant. So my proposal would have been that we cap it at the moment it moves over 110,000 or 120,000, that we start capping that amount and then maybe giving a 50% write-off or a 70% write-off, something along those lines. But just a full write-off of such big amounts, I'm not sure that our municipality's finances can sustain this, because we also don't know what applications are still coming in the future.
Will you make a proposal against, Councillor, that we can vote on it?
Speaker, I
Speaker.
doubt that I'll have a seconder on this item, so then I will just abstain.
Okay, we'll note your name against it then.
Speaker,
Yeah, Councillor Comfort.
is that right of only for people leased from the municipality?
Yes, you're right, Councillor.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Then, with the exception of the ACTP, Councillor Ghost, this carries through as a unanimous vote. E155/09/2020. Thank you, councillors. I take you to the next one. Yes, ma'am.
Speaker, if you could give me 10 seconds.
I beg your pardon?
Speaker, could you allow me 10 seconds?
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Speaker. Just for clarity, I'm not against us writing off an amount. I'm just against us writing off the full amount when the amounts become so large. So the ACDP is abstaining, but based on the fact that I suggest a lower percentage be written off and not the full amount. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Tertia, sal jy net in die notulen daarvan aanteken asseblief dat Raadslid Gous is nie teen die relief measures nie, maar dat sy bekommerd is dat ons die volle bedrag afskryf en nie die persentasie daarvan nie. Het jy dit, Tertia? Sorry guys for the Afrikaans, but that's the way me and Tertia communicate.
Correct, Speaker.
Dankie. 156 relief measures, National State of Disaster, COVID-19, the Coliseum Hotel Management Company. That's the people that lease our Bakker and Santos. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for the relief measures on that one?
Speaker, I'll propose Mark Furness.
Thank you, Councillor Mark Furness. It's proposed by Councillor. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second, Speaker.
Second, Mr. Speaker.
Second all over the show. Deputy Mayor was the first name I've heard. Anyone against?
Speaker, not against, but the same reasons as for E155, the ACDP abstains. On 156.
Okay, your name will be noted then in the minutes as abstaining from the decision.
For the same reason, thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. The next one, E157, relief measures, national state of disaster, COVID-19 pandemic, and that goes for the Mossel by zipline adventures. Can I have a proposer and seconder for this one?
Proposed Speaker, Mark Furness.
Second, Speaker.
Seconded by, first then proposed by Councillor Mark Furness, seconded by Councillor Breinders. Thank you very much. Anyone
Speaker,
else?
ACDP abstains again, Speaker. I just want clarity. I see 34,500 Rand per month is the rental agreement, and we're writing off from the 1st of April to the 30th of September, which is 207,000. But the item does mention that the rental amount outstanding from the 1st of April to the 14th of September is 339,000. So already this person was behind on their rental payments. Could I just get clarity on that, please?
Who are going to give me clarity on the figures that was quoted by Councillor Gous? Councillor Gous, I don't see anyone. I want to ask you to come into the office some other time that we can have a discussion on that one. Okay, now I've got the CFO's hand up. Mr. Harold.
Thank you.
Can you provide us with some clarity on that one, please?
If I can say, yes, I agree with Councillor Gous that they have not. There's a dispute about the date that they could start, but they haven't paid us in.
Okay, thank you, Speaker. So what I'm asking is, what is this recommendation then, that we write off 207,000, or are we writing off 300 and almost 40,000 rand?
CFO?
If I may, Chairperson, the fact of the matter is that there's a specific date from the 1st of April till the end of December that we don't charge them rent. So anything that accumulated up to that is not written off. You will have to pay off again, or pay the full account before we enter the agreement.
Thank you, CFO. I think that's very clear. Councillor Gous, have you been covered?
Speaker, I have, but now I don't have that policy in front of me, but the decision that we made earlier regarding COVID-19 was that should any people requesting write-offs be in arrears with any other accounts, that write-offs would then not be considered. I can't give the exact number of the policy, the point of that policy right now, but I'm sure councillors will recall that that was one of the conditions that we stipulated when people approached us for relief measures. And so in this instance, we are not applying, it seems to me then that we are not applying the very specific criteria that we said we were going to.
Yeah, well, we're at 157 and CFO gave us answers on that one. I want to end with this one. If there's anyone else.
The Speaker, thank you. Let me just clarify that can the CFO just tell us, are we then ignoring the decisions that we made regarding the criteria for relief, or are we actually meeting that with this item specifically? Because this person has been in arrears prior to COVID.
I think the answer that was given to us by the CFO was quite clear. What's on the books is the dates, and every single cent that's not in that the time span. Every one of these have to pay as I read it. And I want to go on. I see Councillor Brainers. Is it your light is on? Have you still got something to say? I want to conclude. Seeing that you were one of the seconders.
No, Mr. Speaker, you can proceed. I think I will make a statement after 159.
Thank you, Councillor Brainers. Then,
Speaker, may I just make sure that ACDP is noted as abstaining on this item and for the same reasons as the others?
Yeah, Councillor, I was busy doing that, and then you interrupted me for the second time. So please abide with my way of doing things. Then this will carry through as an unanimous vote again, with the exception of the ACDP's Councillor Gous. And please note what was said, Colin, in the minutes, please. And I want to go further in at 158. E158 is another relief measure. Just 1 second. Relief measures, national state of disaster, COVID-19 pandemic. That's for the Glentana Caravan Park. And you've read through it all, and I want a proposer and a seconder for this one, please.
Speaker, I'll propose. Mark Furness.
Councillor Baron, propose.
Proposed by Councillor Mark Furness, seconded by Councillor Baron.
Councillor Baron, seconded.
Thank you. I've noted that, Councillor. I've mentioned your name. Is there anyone that have something to say about this one? If not, I want to carry on.
ACDP abstention, same reason as the others.
Scribe, please take note of ACDPs on each of these. Thank you very much, Councillor Gous. That concludes the COVID-19 disaster. I'm at 143. E1459. I had a dip on my tablet. I'm just wanna relocate to 159.
Can I propose, Speaker, Councillor Brainders?
You can propose, Councillor Brader. Thank you very much. And that's 159. It's about a good shit. Second for that one.
Councillor Baron, second, Councillor Brainders.
Councillor Baron, thank you very much, Councillor Baron. I was worried about you not looking in, but you now proved me wrong. It's good to hear you. E149, is that an unanimous vote, councillors?
With the exception of ACDP.
No, you can't speak for the
No,
ACDP.
thank you, Councillor Brainders. It's not necessary for you to speak on behalf of the ACDP. I don't have a problem with this item, thank you.
Mr. Speaker, can I say something? I've asked you for just to say something after we have accepted all these items regarding relief, COVID relief.
You did ask me, yes, and I said yes, I'll do so. So you can go on. Please keep it short.
Mr. Speaker, the ANC is quite sober on this particular item, and on all these items from 153 to 159. And once again, we want to thank the administration and politici who have then come up with this particular items. Just a thank, because our business people have really suffered during COVID-19. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you for the positive note, Councillor Brainders. There's a hand from Deputy Mayor.
Speaker, from my side, I can just echo what Councillor Brainders said. Also, thank you from my side. And I do not understand the rationale of not writing off the debt if it's too high. When it's good times and when these people are, or these businesses are allowed to do business, then we're quite comfortable to take these large amounts of rent. But now, all of a sudden, that the people were not allowed to trade. Now we say, no, we can't write it off, the amounts are too big. So I don't understand the rationale behind that.
Thank you, Deputy. I'm at, what was no? 160.
Speaker, if you would allow me a minute to clarify myself, my thinking.
Yeah, while I'm trying to relocate my agenda.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
May I just say, Speaker, I understand what the Deputy is saying, and I also understand Councillor Brainder's point of view, and I appreciate both of them. The fact remains, though, that these are businessmen that entered into contracts with the municipality at those sums. The municipality is also not at fault. It was a pandemic, and I don't see why the municipality, and when I say municipality, I mean the residents of Mossel Bay, the other residents. We don't just have businessmen in town, but that the other residents have to always carry the brunt of all the costs. So I would say it would be fair when you've got a certain amount that is exceeded when we're looking at write-offs, that we then say, okay, we're willing to meet you at a 50% write-off or a 70% write-off. But I mean, one of the amounts was almost R1 million, and these people are making huge sums of money in good times as well. So they could also be expected to meet us halfway. That's my rationale. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Noticed. Alderman Kotze, Deputy Mayor.
Speaker, yeah, I also want to maybe, I do hear what Councillor Gous said, and we are not insensitive to ratepayers in this town using their money. I think we must also say to each other that the coin has got two sides. We've got a lot of other residents who's also working at these institutions and businesses. And it's important that we give them the best possible chance to keep on going, to keep on doing business, and to have people employed and not have people to let them go.
Thank you, Deputy. With that, I conclude E149. I will take you to 160, Amendment of Delegations of Powers 2020. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for the Amendment of Delegation of Powers?
I'll propose, Speaker.
Thank you. Proposed by Alderman De Kotzer, our Deputy Mayor. Do I have a seconder?
I second Speaker Julia.
Speaker, Julia, yeah, you were so quiet this morning. Thank you, Julia. And it's proposed and seconded. Is there anyone that have something to say about the amendment of delegation of powers 2020? Do I see a hand? No, I don't see. Thank you, councillors. Then it carries through as an unanimous vote, E160 of 9/2020. Then I'm at 161, application for the departure of Schedule 35 of the bylaw relating to outdoor advertising and signage, tourism information signs, and it's about Jakkalsvlei. It's next to the N2, I suppose. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for this application?
Mark Furness, propose.
Thank you, Councillor Mark. Councillor Mark was the proposer. Can I have a seconder on this one?
Speaker, I second the proposal.
Seconded by Alder Lady Fortuin. Thank you very much. And when I do hear nothing, I think it's my ruling is that it is a unanimous vote that carries through E161 of 09/2020. The next one is E162, application for the registration of an encroachment servitude over Earth 12946 Mossel Bay, that's in Tarka, Mossel Bay property, in favor of Earth 12945 Dave Crescent, Tarka, Mossel Bay. And then I think this one is growing a beard. It's a long time since we started with it. Can I have a proposer and a seconder that this can be finished?
I propose Speaker, Councillor Kannemeyer.
Councillor Kannemeyer, do the proposal. A seconder for that one?
I second, Speaker.
Seconded by Councillor Annie Jansen van Rensburg. Thank you very much. When I hear nothing, it goes through as an unanimous vote. Thank you, councillors. Little up, please. E163, application to sublease a portion of a public open space. A portion of Earth 3787 situated adjacent to George Road, Bakker. For Colosseum Hotel Management, that's 15 squares. It's almost the size of a stamp. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for this application that it can be included? Can I just hear who did the proposer?
Councillor Anton Delamain, Speaker, I propose.
Anton Delamain did the proposing, and then I've got Councillor Annie Jansen van Rensburg as the seconder. Is there anyone that have something to add? If not, E163 carries through as an unanimous vote. I thank you, councillors. E164, it's a double barrel one. Application to lease the land and the municipal building situated on Earth 15118. It's 3999 squares, and a portion of Earth 9060, portion of Earth 912, public open space next to the Protea Park extension. And then it's not Mossel Bay, that's Mossel Bay. Please, scribe, can you rectify this? And the next one is cancellation of the lease agreement of municipal buildings situated on a public open space on Earth 15118, portion of Earth 9060 next to Protea Park extension 23 Mossel Bay. The square meters is 155. Do I have a proposer and a seconder for this one? The one for erecting a new...
Speaker, I propose the item 1 and 2.
1 and 2, that was Councillor Rosina Reuters. Secondant?
Councillor Baron is the second of both of them.
Seconded by Councillor Baron. Thank you, Councillor Baron. Anyone else on that? No one. Then it carries through as an unanimous vote. Thank you very much. I then take you to 165. Alienation of earth 12390 situated at Upper Cross Street, adjacent to earth 15995 Mossel Bay. That 34 squares, also a very small piece of sidewalk, I suppose. Mossel Bay Besigheidstrust. Can I have a proposer and a seconder on that one? E165.
Thank you, Speaker. I would like to propose item E165.
Proposed by Alderman Cliffy Bayman. Can I have a seconder on this one?
I'll second, Speaker.
Thank you. Seconded by our Deputy Mayor, Alderman Kotze. Anyone that have something to add? Then E165092020 carried through as an unanimous vote. I thank you, councillors. E166. Proposed alienation of earth 12379. No, I correct myself. 12739, 164 squares to the owner of the adjacent earth 3519 Mossel Bay. That's 24 Montague Street, and the squares is 46. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for this one?
I'll propose, Speaker.
Proposed by Alderman Dirk Kotze or Kotze.
I will second, Speaker, Leon van Dijk.
Seconded by Councillor van Dijk. Anyone against? No one against. Then it carries through as an unanimous vote. E166 of 092020. And that's an unanimous vote. Thank you, councillors. We're at E167, application to lease a portion of earth 20729 situated at Rhino Crescent, Alma Park Extension 23, Mossel Bay, ADP Mossel Bay, and is it there Bekasbal?